All right, welcome to lesson 2 here in the Jeet Kune Do process, your personal, private, interactive Jeet Kune Do class. So last time we dropped off with the step and slide. So we're gonna continue where we left off. So let's go ahead and get dialed in, and we're gonna jump right into it. I don't like to waste time. So I want you to start with your feet together. Again, you're gonna take your left hand. Again, I'm gonna mirror you here. Left hand over right fist. Ibe. They're gonna cross right in front of your belly button. Again, Lai is the command for salute. You're gonna pull that back to your right side. Right heel is gonna step out. Left toe is gonna press forward as your hands press forward. Everything rolls back, and your right foot comes back to meet the left. Fantastic. So last time we left off with our step and slide. We're just learning basic movements to be able to help us to maintain our fighting stance and maintain that heel toe alignment. Most important aspect. Keeping the rear heel up, knees bent, elbows down, okay? Your elbows aren't flared out, chin tucked, shoulders slightly raised, hands are up, okay? So keep those principles in mind. You're sitting in your stance. And your weight distribution, meaning your body weight is even between both feet, okay? That's another detail I want you to be mindful of and keep in mind. In other words, I'm not leaning forward. I'm not leaning back in my stance here, okay? My weight is in the middle. My hips are in the middle between both feet. Okay, so we worked on the step and slide. That's the most important footwork you're gonna do. It's the footwork that you're most frequently going to use. So please master that. You need to be able to come back to your stance. So put everything together we did last time. You should be able to close your eyes. Take your stance, right? You should feel, okay, heel to alignment. Got it, great, fantastic. Then do your step and slide forward, okay? Inside to side. You should be able to do this and then come back and make sure that you have heel to alignment. You gotta be able to do that. You should be able to feel that without seeing it. At some point, you need to train it, however. Don't assume. Please do not assume you got it. Our next footwork we're gonna work on. So notice that we're building things up. We're starting from the ground. We're working on footwork. I need you to be able to move. I know you wanna be able to hit stuff. You wanna be able to punch, kick, intercept. You know, Sifu Rob, I wanna be Bruce Lee today, okay? I don't wanna wait. I wanna be like Bruce Lee now, okay? It doesn't work that way, all right? So I'm not sure if that's what you signed up for, but it is not gonna happen. So let's go ahead and move on to some additional footwork. So next footwork I wanna show you is just pivoting. So far we've been working very linear. It's been forward, back, side to side. Now I wanna talk to you a little bit about circling or pivoting a moving opponent, right? Because your opponent's not just gonna go forward, back, side to side. It's not a video game, okay? They're not two-dimensional, right? They're gonna move around and circle, this kind of thing. So what we're gonna do is our opponent circles. So let's say our opponent comes over here. Now our opponent is directly to the side of me. Well, I don't wanna try to fight him from here, okay? No matter how good I am, I'm gonna be very much at a disadvantage. So what I'm gonna do is we call pivot. And there's multiple ways to do this. I'm gonna show you one way right now, okay? So what we're gonna do, we're always gonna move or circle, swing around our rear leg. So keep that in mind as we work this. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my rear leg, it's gonna circle around, and then, so from here, now I'm gonna turn my front foot. Boom, and I'm here. Now, once you pivot, you wanna check your heel toe alignment. Make sure you have heel toe alignment, okay? Very important. All right, so let's come back. We'll show you that again, okay? So again, I'm gonna start here. I'm in my on guard stance. Again, my opponent's here on the side. He may not be exactly where Bob is right here, okay? Let's say he's more in an angle. I'm just trying to show for demonstration's sake, okay? And there's a reason for that. So let's say he's right along this line here, not exactly where Bob is, maybe a little bit further over, okay? So I'm again take this rear foot, slide it over, boom, and face my opponent. Now, the key to heel toe alignment is I have to line up with my opponent. Like I said, if he's where Bob is, this is not functional. You say, Rob, why is this not functional? Well, I'll tell you, okay? So heel toe alignment, you notice I'm kind of on this line here where the mat is. If I follow this line, I'm gonna move closer to my opponent, okay? Let's assume my opponent was closest to me. As I follow this line, I'm just going straight, just going straight, just going straight. Now who's got the advantage? I'm straight here, but my opponent is on the side of me. So what is he gonna do? He's gonna knock me in the head, kick me in the leg, maybe he's gonna grab me, tackle me, choke me out, okay? So heel toe alignment in your fighting stance is always, write this down, is always in relation to your opponent. Heel toe alignment is always in relation to your opponent. So you can have heel toe alignment here. This looks great. You say, man, I learned this from Sifu Rob and JKD Process. I know how to do the Jeet Kune Do fighting stance. However, your opponent moves here. Now what happened, right? Your opponent's here. Now your groin is open. Now you're getting kicked in the groin and punched in the face, and you can't fight from here. So you got to be able, your opponent's here. You got to be able to swing around and face that opponent with that heel toe alignment and line back up with your opponent. So typically I'm lining up heel to alignment with my opponent's center line generally. But if I can get to an angle on my opponent, then that's better. If I can get to this angle, that's ideal. I don't want to face him toe to toe where we're even. I'd rather get on the angle, on the outside of one of his limbs. This is where I want to be to utilize my various attacks. So that is heel to alignment when it comes to pivoting. Now, like I mentioned, you're always going to move your rear foot. So if my opponent moves in this direction, same thing, I'm going to turn, okay? Now, only turn as much as you need to, right? This is also something you'll have to learn. Only turn as much as you need to. So if my opponent, only moves a little bit, I'm just going to move a little bit, right? If he moves a lot, maybe I'm going to move a lot, okay? I don't want my opponent to be in a spot where he can hit me, but I can't hit him, okay? So I'm just going to turn here, right? This is my turning. So again, this is circling, then the foot pivots. Circles, then the foot pivots, okay? Again, this is gonna circle, foot pivots, 1, 2, 1, 2, okay? It's a 1-2 motion, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, okay? That's where we're gonna be, okay? 1, 2, 1, 2, right? For now, okay? You can certainly do more of a 1 motion, 1, okay? 1, right? 1, okay? Boom, that's fine. But we like to do 1, 2 in the beginning until you kind of get better with it, right? so focus on that. Now, notice when you pivot, your weight, okay? I'm Sifu Rob, so we're very detailed. In JKD Process, very detailed. We don't want you to have bad, garbage YouTube JKD, okay? Don't be a YouTube JKD person, all right? Learn from the experts. So you'll notice when you're doing this, I need to shift my weight forward, right? Because if I try to keep my weight 50-50, it's gonna be very hard because I have weight on this back leg. In order to move my back leg, I need to shift my weight to my front leg a little bit to allow me to move my back leg. Okay, this applies to anything you're doing. If you're kicking, same thing. Your weight's gotta be on your standing leg. If I'm stepping, I can kind of take small steps, but if I'm pivoting now, okay, especially on a larger pivot, you gotta shift your weight. Small pivot, not so much. You can small pivot and keep your weight about 50-50 because your foot's not coming that far off the ground. But if your foot's moving a little bit far off the ground, the guy somehow was able to cut a deep angle on you, then yeah, you're gonna have to shift your weight a little bit. So it's gonna be a little bit slower to swing yourself around. Anyway, that's the pivot. You should be doing that with me. Again, I want you guys to practice that. That's pivoting and circling. So we learned a few footworks. We learned half step, step and slide, and pivoting. We'll stop there for now in terms of footwork. I want to get you guys moving and punching and kicking and things along those lines and start activating those things. The way I teach Jeet Kune Do, I teach Jeet Kune Do in essentially 6 major areas. What I mean by that is this. We're going to teach you striking, right? In terms of punching and striking with your arms, okay? That's going to be fists, that may be fingers, that may be elbows, that may be forearms, that may be palms, any part of your arm. That's number 1, right? We're teaching you how to strike with the limbs, the arms. We're also teaching you how to strike with the legs. That's number 2, right? We're going to teach you how to kick with any part of the foot, right? Teach you how to throw knees, all of those kind of things using your whole body, okay? Now, obviously, this includes other parts. You may strike with the headbutt, things like that. You may bite. You may do other things as well, okay? Shoulders, all those kind of things. That's fine. But 2 areas, right? Primarily, we're talking about upper body strikes, right? Arms and head, striking with arms and head, and also striking with the legs. In addition to that, defense. You also need to be able to block, defend, parry, slip, move, bob, and weave, and move your head. So defense is also important. Those 3 areas, right? You got to be able to integrate all of this. In addition to your offense and defense, you also need to learn your footwork, right? You got to learn how to move. Doesn't matter if you can hit hard and kick hard and block if you're stuck, if you are like, cement and you can't move your feet. So you got to be able to move your feet to get in, out of range, and protect yourself. In addition to those things, you can't just be good on your feet, right? You can't just be a good kicker, puncher, striker, and have defense. You also got to be able to grapple, right? What does that mean? It means I have to be able to fight in the clinch, in close, whether I single collar, reverse collar tie. Wherever I am in the clinch, I've got to be able to deal with this opponent, right? So grappling is important. Not just standing grappling, but also grappling on the ground. So we're going to work on techniques on the ground as well. And then, so that's 5 areas we just talked about, okay? And now finally, the other aspect to it will be your trapping. So I want to be able to immobilize my opponent with whatever means I can do that, okay? So it's not the traditional kind of Wing Chun, kind of trapping like this, okay? We're a little bit different in Jeet Kune Do. We're focused more on hitting first as opposed to trap then hit or trap and hit, okay? So it's a little bit different, and we'll get to that. So those are primarily the 6 areas we focus on in Jeet Kune Do as far as curriculum. There are other areas, things you also want to be mindful of. If you had to add number 7, you want to think also about weapons, right? You want to think about what to do if my opponent has a blunt object or I have a blunt object. If I have an edge weapon or edge tool or a firearm, all of these kind of things, you also want to, those are all other considerations in your training, things to think about. However, those things were not in the original Jeet Kune Do curriculum. So doesn't mean you shouldn't train it. You absolutely should train it, but just understand what's Jeet Kune Do and what it's not. All right, so let's keep moving. So let's go ahead and get into some striking. So the first punch we're going to teach you is going to just be your standard jab, and we get this from boxing. We'll learn some more advanced punching in a little bit, but from your fighting stance, everything from the fighting stance, okay? The way I teach striking, and I teach most things like this, I talk about levels of commitment, okay? What that means is that how much am I committing to any type of attack that I'm doing, okay? So the jab is a little bit of a lower level of a commitment. However, it's more mid-level, I would say. It's not exactly no or little commitment. However, I'll explain what that means in a second. So from here, from your fighting stance, from your on guard position here, I'm gonna leave this hand down. You gotta focus on what this arm's doing. Essentially, your arm's gonna go straight. Before it hits full extension or the target, it's gonna close the fist, okay? And then it's gonna come back on the same line. Now, it sounds easy enough, but I promise you it's very difficult to do, okay? So in your on guard stance, in your fighting stance, okay, as I didn't explain this before, make sure that you are mindful of what your hands are doing, okay? So I've seen people hold fighting stances like this, where they have their fingers literally in their face, at their eyes. I've seen closed fists here in a fighting stance, right? Again, if you get hit, your fist is gonna get to your face, you're gonna hit yourself with your own fist. So typically I want the palms facing forward. You can have your fist facing forward, just make sure it's one or the other, either loose fist or, you know, loose kind of palms here that can allow you to close the fist, grab, move, parry, whatever you need to be able to do, okay? Manipulate. It's also less aggressive. A lot of times I'm trying to talk someone down. I don't want to talk them down with closed fists, okay? So it's easier to talk them down with open hands, okay? So those are the things you want to think about. So with our jab, going back to our jab, I want you to first, in your jab, to just focus on extending this elbow. Don't worry about what the hand's doing right now. I just want you to go make a straight line, okay? Just make a straight line. That's very difficult to do sometimes. So this is what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to pop your elbow out. This is what a lot of people do when they're throwing a punch. They pop their elbow out. The reason they pop their elbow out is because they're focused not on going in a straight line, but they're focused on turning their fist over. And when I turn my fist over, my elbow pops out, which is gonna be a telegraph that I'm punching, okay? If I punch like this, you're gonna see that and hopefully be able to intercept me. So I don't want you to punch this way. I just want you to focus right now on going straight with your finger, and then we're gonna close the fist. So straight line with the finger, boom, towards our opponent. Straight line towards our opponent. Make sure when you do this, you're not going down. So if your hands are up high, I don't want you to go down like this. I don't want you to punch down, okay? I want you to punch straight. We're doing this because that keeps our elbow down. The other reason you want to keep your elbow down, this also helps protect your ribs. Protects the body here. It also lines up to your power line. A principle Bruce Lee got from Jack Dempsey, which basically means your body's going to be behind the punch. When your elbow is out, your power is leaking out of your elbow. So you want to keep your elbow in, aligned to the body. Your body weight's now behind that punch. So as we get close to the finish line on our jab, now we're going to rotate our wrist. At the very end. If you rotate too soon, elbow pops out. You rotate it late, elbow doesn't pop out. So we want to rotate it late, okay? Now, as you throw your jab, I want you to keep your chin tucked, shoulders slightly raised. Chin tucked. So as you naturally rotate your wrist, that normally will make it a little bit easier for your shoulder to come up a little bit. Your shoulder's going to want to come up a little bit. So I want you to see if you can get your chin essentially next to your shoulder. Everyone's a little bit different with this, but try to do that just to protect the other side of your face here. So this is where I want you to be, right here. Chin next to the shoulder. Boom. Does that make sense? Again, keep the rear hand up. I like to keep the hand up in front of the face, meaning that when I throw a straight punch, this is all very important details, guys. Hey, bear with me, please. When I throw a straight punch here, where are you likely to counter me? Okay, think about it here. If I throw a straight punch to Bob, where is he most likely going to counter me? Now, keep in mind, straight punches are longer than what? A curve, a hook, or a looping punch. We don't throw hooks like this, by the way, but I'm just showing you a straight punch is going to be longer. Okay, it's going on a straight line. Shortest distance between 2 points. So most likely, if he's gonna counter me, he's gonna counter me straight. Now, certainly he can throw a looping hook, he can duck, weave, bob, slip, and come in with a hook punch, and that's very possible. However, so you wanna be mindful of that. If you're dealing with somebody like that, then you wanna keep it to the side of your head. But most people are gonna try to punch you straight and keep their distance. So if I'm here, I wanna be able to keep this hand in front because that's most likely where I'm gonna counter that with a long punch like mine. So that's why I had a hand in front of the face. Okay, do what makes sense, use common sense. So we're here, hands going forward. Now, what we just did was really the first level of commitment. All we did was focus on the extension of our elbow and the rotation of our wrist. That's it, that's all we did. Boom, 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 right? And so hopefully you did that with me. You should be doing all this with me because this is the first thing I want you to get, being able to do this. Being able to do this. Now, once you have this, I want you now to also focus on the retraction of your punch. Again, Jeet Kune Do is about details. JKD Process is about details. So what that means is that I don't want you to just focus on extending your punch and delivering your punch and hitting with power. You feel good, you hit the guy with power, but then you get countered on the way back. So when you punch, I need you to bring your hand back to your head faster, if you can, than when your hand went out. So we focus on the recovery of our punch, not just the delivery. Very important aspect because a lot of times you get countered on your recovery. So we're extending and bringing it back just as fast. Now in the beginning, this is fine. I'm leaving the punch out here so you can see it and then bring it back. However, once you get more proficient at it, you're just gonna pop it out. Boom, 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 like so. Boom, boom, boom. Again, closing the fist at the end of the punch. Again, if I make the fist tight here, it's gonna slow my punch down, slow it down. I wanna keep it nice and loose, nice and loose. So boom, 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 right, boom. Now, as you train this, you want to certainly fully extend your arm. However, don't lock your elbow. It's very easy when you're throwing straight punches now to hyperextend your elbow here. So keep, maybe have a slight bend in it. It's still straight. I don't want you to do this where you got a bend in your elbow because now you're not using your full range, okay? I do want you to be able to use your full range here on your punch as you rotate it over and then snap it back. So that's the first level of commitment. Now, what we're gonna do to this is add our body weight to the punch now. We're gonna add our body weight to the punch. And I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do that. So from our fighting stance, instead of just using the elbow now I'm gonna send my weight into it. And how I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna push from my rear foot. Rear foot's gonna push, send my body weight forward. Send my body weight forward. Now, I don't wanna send it so far forward where I'm leaning my knee over my ankle here. I don't want this. Or I don't wanna lean in my upper body where I'm like this. Again, you're gonna get countered, knocked out, you're off balance, maybe you get taken down, all sorts of bad stuff can happen. I just want you to come forward a little bit. Don't overcommit. So we're here. So we're gonna push now from our rear foot. So we're driving power into our jab, where before it was just the arm, right? It was just the muscular strength. You got strong muscles, you're gonna hit hard. If you're a small guy like me, okay, you're not so much gonna hit so hard. So that's why we have to add our body weight to it. So I'm gonna push now. I'm gonna push from this rear foot. So what's happening is, as my punch goes, that rear foot is pushing. And once I'm at full extension, the push has been complete. The push has been complete. So I wanna be able to drive my weight into the punch. Drive my weight into the punch. So that's why we're punching that way. So again, I want you to do this with me. Give it a shot. Let's try it together. We're punching, punching, punching. Then take a break, okay? Take a break. One thing we like to do in Jeet Kune Do is we like to do something we call break our rhythm. As you train at home, which I assume you're doing, make sure you're not just going a set pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You're in a pattern now. What I want you to do is mix it up. So boom, okay? Boom, boom. All right, wait a little bit, move, okay? In your fighting stance, you should not be a statue. If your fighting stance is like this, you're gonna get knocked out, I promise you. If you watch YouTube, I'm a big, I pick on YouTube JKD a lot, but you see this a lot. The shoulders are soft and chin is up. And there's no way you can fight that way, okay? No way. So I want you to keep your chin tucked, your shoulders slightly raised, your hands up, and throw your punch, but break your rhythm. Bah, bah, right? Bah, bah, bah. Maybe I throw 3. Bah, 1. Wait a little bit. Moving my head. Visualizing an opponent. Bah, bah. Okay? Now, The punch we just threw, the jab we just threw was what? It was stationary, meaning I didn't do any footwork. I didn't move, I didn't step, I didn't angle, anything like that. We just did a stationary jab. And that's just how I want you to do it in the beginning. However, typically when you're throwing a jab, you have to move into range to hit your opponent. The only time you're really doing a stationary jab is if your opponent moves into you. If your opponent moves into your range, then you can hit them with your jab, or you're using this to keep them out of your range. So that's that's one purpose of the jab, and that's one way to add. Sorry, the timer's going off. So what we're gonna do in our next lesson, because I try to keep these to a certain amount of time. Next lesson, we're gonna add footwork to our jab now. So now we're gonna step forward with our jab and add footwork, and I'm gonna show you what that looks like and how that should be. But right now, what I want you to do is just get used to throwing your punch with a broken rhythm, not going in the same pattern, but and then also using some natural movement in your stance, okay? Even though you're not moving your feet, maybe you are, maybe you're doing the footwork we learned, right? As far as your half step or your step and slide, or maybe you're pivoting and then throwing your jab, okay? And that's fine. And you pivot back, maybe step and slide back, boom, boom, okay? Boom, boom. That's fine, and certainly do that. Be creative, and that's what you really should be doing, okay? But we're gonna also add footwork while we step, not just footwork while we punch, not just between punches. So we're gonna work on that in the next lesson.